This Ra one-trick account has crept into the top 100 and is steadily staying there, so I really want to see what this guy can do. The account is called Harold Finehair, and about 4 months ago, so in April, he was 1600. So a respectable player, very decent player. I would say 1600s is going to be like, I don't know, like a platinum player or something in a different game. And over the last few months, just crept up to that very, very high level, only playing Ra. So the reason that I found this is you go on AOM stats, you search by replays, and if somebody's a one trick, basically meaning they only play a certain god for a period of time, then what Gerbot does is he puts a little horse next to them. So I was like, oh, this Ra horse, let's have a look. And a lot of players consider Ra to be quite weak currently. Of the Egyptians, he's probably the worst, just because he's very difficult to get going. And I've seen that this player doesn't just do one thing, so I want to see what he's going to do up against Asem. Asem's a really strong player and also playing Poseidon. Asem he's a team game guy, primarily, I believe, so his Poseidon's going to be very, very strong. Poseidon, Odin, those kind of cavalry gods, Tsukiyomi, they're all really good in team games due to just cavalry go fast, map be big sort of situation. But we do have Mr. Finehair, and what is he doing so far? He's done one little cheeky scout with his priest. No obelisk gone down, literally just the old man walking slowly at his 3.8 buffed speed. You'd never guess that this is a buffed speed. It used to be slower. The last patch even, it was 3.6 speed, and he's going to come back and be on the mining camp. Now, I kind of have wondered if this is the right way to go for Ra. It's always been wondered. What we used to do on the original game is we used to go along with our priest here, or our pharaoh called F2 player. We would do one circle of the base with our pharaoh, have the priest empowering whatever it is, the town center, the granary, whatever you happen to be on, depending on whether you could bring the hippos underneath. And then the pharaoh would then take over the priest's job. He would either go put down obelisks if that's what you wanted to do, or he would be on something else. And it looks like that's kind of what Mr. Finehair is doing here, but just doing a loot with his priest. Goes on the gold, so he gets a little bit more gold income than he otherwise would. And actually, I'm just going to look to see if these guys are on... Okay, I'm just going to move him to the left side, because we are slightly on the left. And he's got enough gold to potentially get himself a town center a little bit quicker. Maybe that's the idea for it. He's gone for a pretty decent advance time, I think it's about under 4 minute uptime to go through Patar, and we'll probably grab a town center. So maybe that's only doable with a priest. Also love the houses around the whatever this is called, Sentry Tower here, but I would probably prefer it to wall off this section. But I mean, it's just bit of personal preference. Some people like the cavalry units to be able to get in so that they can trap them, or they can bait them in to do some big damage or something like that. But villagers moving over, and what people might be wondering, how do you know this isn't a Smurf account? I kind of glanced over this bit because he's going towards a blind town center, and he knows is there. That's a very common tactic that players can do. And he's played like 900 games or something. I think he's played more games than I have. I'd say 900 games, 900 wins, sorry. So like 1,800 games. I'd say I played like 1,100 games or something. So kind of wild. And Asem's going to be grabbing centaurs, and he's going to be doing that kind of situation. So pretty early advance time. I think maybe he messed up his build order ever so slightly. Just that he moved his laborers over too quick, so they had to chop 50 wood from the palm tree. But Asem notices that instantly. And it means that unless Asem went for the very early uptime, which is the like 12 out of 15 population uptime, which is kind of tricky to do. Well, not tricky to do, but it just means that your eco's so far behind. There's nothing that's really going to come and stop this. So nice play. He's going to be grabbing his second town center. Now, also this relic is ridiculous. Oh, and Asem's going to spot that. This is such a good Egyptian relic. Gather gold 10% faster. It's good for everybody, but for the Egyptians especially, gold is... The barracks cost gold, the town centers only cost gold, and it's an absolutely huge relic. So Asem's going to be able to sneak that one away. I would even send the Pharaoh there. I know you lose resources sending the pharaoh to do certain things, but if I saw that relic, I'd be like, yeah, that's mine. That one's going home with me. Anyway, tower's even grabbed. How much is the tower upgrade? Nope, that isn't right. I hover this one. 50 wood, 100 gold. So it is really, really cheap. That was one of the changes of the Egyptians, is they used to get free watchtowers, and that was always a thing from the original game. And during Retold, he's not going to be able to get in this watchtower. I couldn't even click on it because there's too many houses around it. That's just the thing with the hitboxes. You need somewhere to click, and you have to. You can click if you go over here, but if you're here, you're going to be clicking on a house every single time. So he couldn't garrison. Unless you have a certain hotkey set up. The certain hotkey is, there's one called get back to work, and then the other one is like seek shelter. And some players have it on just any key, so you just hit the key and the units will run to the nearest watchtower. And that's what you need if you're going to be doing your houses like this. If you didn't have these extra houses, if you just had the 4 normal ones, you could just do the normal alt click kind of thing. So you can see, like, I'm trying to alt, there's only certain pixels that you can do it on. Anyway, I was talking about the old game, which I can't remember now. A big raid coming in from Assem, and you can assume that he's on 2 TCs here. Like, this is a matchup that if you can do it, you want both players to be on 2 TCs. If the map is wide open, there's no gold mines on the second town centers or whatever, then probably not. But this is Blue Lagoon, I believe. No, it's Nile Shallows. They look so similar. Nile Shallows has the shallows, surprisingly. That's okay. This I'm a bit confused about. Why are there 3 armories? So, Egyptian armories are free. But why would you just put them all back here? Because they take 40 seconds to build, so it isn't really free. It takes double the amount of time of any other civ to build an armory. But anyway. But yeah, this is... A lot of pros consider this as like their favorite matchup to play, basically, because it's a little bit of eco in terms of the macro, that you have to have strong macro. You need to be able to choose your town center. You need to secure your second hunt, but also then it turns into quite aggressive later on, which is what those players kind of like. The top echelon of players, they like doing this. So nice to see that so far Mr. Finehair is going pure top game meta for this one. The Watchtowers probably isn't considered meta, but I think a lot of these pro players, they get their Watchtowers way too late. Especially with Egyptians, I've decided that I'm just getting Watchtowers earlier on anyway, because it is cheaper. It's only 50 wood. You can just have, if you don't want the wood like Finehair's doing here, then, or should we call him Harold? I think Finehair is a little bit better. But if you don't want loads of wood, you can literally just put one villager on wood, just leave him there, and then he'll slowly get the things upgrades. You know, things like husbandry and whatnot. But he's got his husbandry, he's got his plow, and got his Shadoof. So Shadoof comes in really quick now, and I imagine some kind of rain will drop down later. But then now he's actually just going after the hippos. I love this wall. As a defensive setup, walls behind resources are so nice. So this wall is doing three jobs, or two jobs basically. Guarding the gold mine, and also having a place to retreat for these laborers that are on these hippos. One more defensive setup that I would like to see is an obelisk. Maybe just about here. Obelisk so that you can see, maybe even this side, so you can see when some horses try and come in, and that's it. There we go. He's going to be dropping that one down. Nice play. The other defensive setup is going to be Skin of the Rhino, which is just... I don't know why he grabbed it in that town center rather than this one. Anyway, not a big deal. I think he thinks he grabbed it in this one because there's no villagers being produced. So, oh well. What can you do? Sometimes we're all human, no matter how high your elo gets. And Sobek with the Hathor picture going to be coming through. Triple armory is completed. Well done, this man. He has built 3 buildings, and now he just doesn't want to. He don't want to work. He wants to stand around. I guess the reason is when he wants his armory upgrades, he wants them now. So he is using 2 armories right now, right? Oh no, those are coming from the barracks. For some reason, I thought he was getting the armory upgrades. I was like, okay, maybe it makes sense, but he has also built 8 spearmen. which makes sense against Poseidon. Poseidon normally wants to be grabbing the hippiest, right? I mean, that's just his bread and butter. He wants to do a little bit of raiding. I'm surprised the Sem hasn't raided at all. You would always, in these kind of matchups, as the Poseidon, see, let's call it 5 hippiest, 6 hippiest coming in, just trying to do some damage. Maybe he just saw the watchtowers and thought, it's not even worth it. Or even just trying to knock the door down, just force a reaction. Because a lot of Ra players wouldn't have even built these spearmen. They would have just said, well, you're not building anything, so I'm not building anything, and that makes me get to the Mythic Age quicker. But what Fine here, Mr. Harold, needs to do now is, because he's built these spearmen, he needs to use them. He's seen that Poseidon's not really coming for him, so the spearmen needs to get some value somewhere, or even just these camels. He needs to get some sort of damage done with these, otherwise it's... they're not that expensive, but you built 9 of them. Now the camels are coming through, so he is going to be getting some damage with these. Spots the armory, spots the militias, or military academy, where the militias will come from. But loads of food on this side as well. Kind of a cracked corner of foodly goodness if he wants to go for those. No farms getting dropped yet, just a couple of farms. A little bit of a farm transition while still staying on the hippos as well. I kind of rate that play. The Rock is going to have a look around, and it looks like a Heroic Age push. Now, Heroic Age push is coming in, and also those armories working overtime. The reason this is coming in is because he wants to put some pressure on while Sem is obviously going to the Mythic Age. If a player like Sem or Poseidon doesn't have any units, literally hasn't built anything, then you know they're going to the Mythic Age. So you want to pressure, you want to do something. The issue is you've already seen his first tool to be able to get to the Mythic Age, which is Curse. Curse can get rid of so many units, and then Ceasefire can just come through. So I don't know how much damage Harold will be getting done, but spotting some of these villagers over here would be nice to send a couple of camels over there. Even just like 3 or 4 camels going over there could be nice. But a small amount of damage coming in. You need some units around, otherwise the militia will take out the siege towers. Very, very easy, very, very quickly. But the camels, the spearmen, the crocodile with a laser on his head, those are all fine options. And now Poseidon does arguably get to the strongest portion of his game. I was kind of thinking about this the other day, that Poseidon's considered such an early game raiding civ, like just very, very, very strong early raider. But I think he's probably one of the best late game civs in the entire game. Like Polyphemus is going to come out, be able to slap these guys, no problem. Looks like the Rock was having a look over there. And this is a nice attack, though. I think he has found a bit of a decent timing here. Temple does go down. I would love to see that relic stolen for... Oh, now the ceasefire's in. Still the relic, still the relic, still the relic, still the relic. Yes, come on. Surely he's doing it. Players don't care about relics, I swear. SM obviously does. He's got all the good relics. Villager train time. Scarabs are stronger, whatever. Colossus are stronger. Need to steal that away from him. It's just one of those things. It takes an extra bit of APM just to go boom, boom, boom. It makes a nice noise when you pick up the relics. Devs tried everything to make people pick up relics. They gave it extra favor. They make it make a nice noise. Even when you drop it off, it's a satisfying boop kind of noise, but nope. some players just don't care. It's 4 upgrades sitting there. Anyway. Now the Petrometer in, so the Spearmen do need to come in for Mr. Harold Fine here for sure. Nice little Locust drop coming in. Priest tickling these Nemean Lions, tickling the Colossus. And this is one big problem with Ra against myth units, is he sucks. If you want to deal with big myth units, you need Son of Osiris, or you need some kind of myth unit of your own. You need the crocodiles out. You need, if you're going the other way, if you're going through the Avenger God, then you need to build some of those. Going through Horus. But you see the Colossus, he just tanks for so long. Like this is, well, it was 5 priests up against these Colossus. The Colossus will go down, but I mean the priest will go down as well. And Sem is going to be able to get back. I think Mr. Harold here wanted to go Mythic Age, you could see that's where his eco is heading. If you take away these 4 chariots, 7 camel riders, that's exactly the amount of resources that he needs to get up to the next age. But normally, you don't want to push when you're going up to the next stage, as you just don't have the resources to back up some kind of pressure. Or the other issue is he only has 1 Migdal stronghold, and if he wants to be spamming mostly Migdal units, then you just need more of them. It's got 5 barracks surrounded by monuments, I assume. Not surrounded by monuments, but he does have 5 barracks. Also a little bit of a age-old thing. I'm probably the last person to give advice for rally points, because mine are awful. But what I like to do is hit my everything button and then give them all a rally point. So if I was to click here, I can't click because I'm not playing. But you can rally every single military building together. Sometimes it's pretty detrimental, but I never get a problem like that. I just get other problems all the time. And actually, he's deciding to just stick in this heroic age. I kind of like it, but pre-queuing absolutely everything is a choice that's been made. Oh dear. Sometimes it works out for you, but sometimes it just doesn't. I mean, some of these are the late game ones, like flood control is not even in the next stage yet, but Heliopolis coming through, and Ascend pushed out too quick. He was in a great spot there to just. He defended the push, and now he just needs to sit back, get all his upgrades in, go full pop, push out, grab his town center kind of situation. But I think he got a little bit greedy there, and Harold, he capitalized on that one very, very quickly. He's also securing himself more gold mines. There are some villagers here, or at least there were for a hot second. Again, just 1 camel rider could be nice. Definitely playing with fire on this side. I wouldn't even mind the town center being grabbed on a Migdal stronghold here, because that is the 4 TC for him, or 3rd TC for Sem. So could be getting rid of those. Heliopolis going to be tanking very, very nicely. And it's all archers right now. So maybe some camels. More camels needed? Yeah, camels. It's going to be the choice. Definitely makes sense. The villagers, these villagers playing with fire too. I don't know how people get away with this against certain individuals. Like some players will just punish you for villagers being open. There's a guy, I was just playing some games yesterday. There's a guy on the ladder called Dop, like D0P. Oh, a second curse use is kind of wild. Could be a bit of a tempo swing for SM pushing forward. Anyways, I was playing a game against Dop, and I was kind of like half asleep playing. I was, full long week of work. I was just playing. And he reminds me of the AI, where if you have like a speck of wall open where you just haven't built the wall, or he's managed to destroy it, he just streams units through to take care of your villages. It's crazy. It's like a shark sniffing blood. It's just so funny. Some players are like super on it, but others really don't. And Poseidon's here going absolutely hard for Mr. Sem on this side, whereas the Migdal stronghold does go up for Harold. He's also grabbing his siege workshop, and the town center was grabbed from Sem. That's why I wanted the Migdal a little bit sooner, just to stop that from happening. And it's going to be slugging it out in the heroic age. This is quite different than what we see often from Egyptians. I like doing this, but then I find that I miss out on some of just the Mythic Age things, even just champion techs, because if the Egyptians don't get to the heroic, get to the Mythic Age in a decent time, I just find it's almost impossible to get there. At least playing Isis. Maybe with Ra, it's a little bit different. If you're like this, you're spread out on all these gold mines, you can just use another rain. Like, he's got 130 favor. You can just use another rain to grab loads and loads of food. That could get you to the next stage. So maybe that's just a Isis and Set thing where they struggle and Ra has a way around it. Isis can obviously use prosperity and buy some food or whatever, but it's a little bit tricky. Settlement is going to be grabbed from Asem. He doesn't have ceasefire, but he's just YOLOing it anyway, just going straight in. And the Locust Swarm going to get used. I think that was a good call. It was just a little bit too late. And Asem does manage to grab that one. I don't know how Harold comes back from this, apart from aggressing on this side. I say come back from this. He definitely can. He's got full eco. He's built up everywhere. He's got gold mines everywhere. How many gold mines does Asem have? That is the question. He's got one here. He's got one here. And I think that is what Harold is going for. He's going for each corner. And he's going for a bit of a gold control opportunity. It's not a gold starve yet because there are still gold opportunities to be had. But he wants to secure as many gold mines as he possibly can. And I think his plan is to surround this town center just to be able to knock it down. I mean, this town center's got nothing to defend it. So, yeah, one siege tower can take that one down. The siege tower will die from the militia that come through, but I think that's absolutely fine. Sam is just trading. He's saying, well, I think you're going to be grabbing this one. I'll obviously try and put a stop to it because I don't want you to have it for free. But I'll be securing this gold mine, and then he can just put a wall here and be absolutely fine. Whereas, like a true Ra player, Harold has gone double market in the corner already. Okay, he has kind of stopped. He's stopped them. He's got 18 camels. The eco for Mr. Finehair is going hard right now. And he can get up to the next stage. And he's gone Osiris. Yes. Osiris, I like. Horus makes sense, though. If you want to go up against the late game with loads and loads of cav of Ascen, he doesn't have Thracian horses because he went the Aphrodite god. He went Curse instead. So maybe Spearmen don't make as much sense. And you're seeing that he's going lots and lots of archers. So maybe Osiris makes sense to get those very, very strong camels. And anyway, I think Osiris is good for dealing with any myth units that are coming his way. If Ascen wants to go for Colossus or something, it's very, as we saw earlier, it's so hard for the priest to deal with. And Son of Osiris also just does big damage against everything. Polyphemus takes damage. The Heliopolis goes down pretty quickly. So I do rate that. I rate getting double pharaohs out too. I think we barely see Osiris from anyone anymore. At least that's what it feels like. It feels like Isis always goes Thoth for Meteor and the tech where you just print double elephants. And the other side we just see Horus. So nice to see an Osiris come through. Polyphemus, though, is a disgusting unit. Just look at him. He's not being touched. Town center does go down. Nice play. Needs to grab that one as soon as possible. What's the market sell rate like? Yeah, you can sell a lot of food. I wouldn't mind with this 100 favor, a rain, and then maybe a little bit sooner for the rain because there's a storming opportunity coming through from these Heliopolis just to end the game with a quick tempo swing. But I wouldn't mind to see the rain and then just sell some food. It would have been nice. But this damage from Asem is maybe doing more than he realizes. I don't know if he knows quite how many camels were set up in that corner. But the town center going down, these guys getting in the way of the camels. Kind of huge. Osiris is going to be on the way. It was through the other town center. F2 player can become Son of Osiris. And he can get some defensive action in. The issue is there's not that many units here, so I think Asem can just go straight after the Son of Osiris with all his Toxotes, and this is not where you want to be with him. Maybe there's just not enough units. You want him so that he can get into a defensive structure pretty quick, and yes, here's fire coming in. Holy. Okay, this is looking bleak. I'm going to be honest, looking bleak. Do need to grab this town center. You can't be 4-1 TC. That is not good. But the eco is great. Once these guys start working again. This is the corner he wants, really. It's very, very far to the town center. How much does that cost? 150 gold. It costs nothing. To get second pharaoh out? Your second pharaoh can do anything. It can empower the markets to make that better. It can empower to get loads of, repair buildings, get Migdal strongholds up really, really quickly. You can do those things, or it can just be in the army. And that's not a bad shout, just having an extra hero which costs 0 population in your army. See, the Son of Osiris will be able to take care of this Heliopolis, no problem. I think Asem's throwing these away, to be honest. They're so expensive. 500 resources each. They're all going down to that Son of Osiris just very, very quickly. Heliopolis on this side going down. Do you get extra food for them being in the water? I think you should. You shouldn't. That would be a dumb. That would be a dumb take. It'd be real underwater farms. I think Sam hasn't really done anything with this though. Maybe it was just more of a distraction because he's just letting the catapults take it down very, very quickly and bringing it back to an even state of affairs. Sam, we will have been notified to this actually because we are the Ra player, but Sem is going for a Titan. Normally when you see players go for a 4th TC, especially with someone like Hephaestus where you already have all the iron upgrades, is you just spam up to that 260 pop. You don't even care what you build. Just build units. Just spam out units and then you should be able to win the next fight unless there's like a tornado or something there. But now that he's grabbed that, he's got the extra population, and he's spent those resources instead of units on a Titan. Obviously, the Titan's going to come out later, be very, very good. But is there a rock still available for the Ra player here? Because what you can do is just get a Shifting Sands over there, put a stop to it, and then that's destroying so many resources. Oh. Oh. Had a crazy sneeze. Apologies for that. Yeah, Heliopolis. Being scared away. Son of Osiris is just the Heliopolis killer today. All units coming over here to put a stop to this gold mine. I don't think Asem needs to come over here to get distracted by 900 gold, considering there is a trade on the backside. I think anything that will allow him to get his Titan up. But the Titan's already at 52%. Son of Osiris is in. Double Pharaoh is in. So that's the best opportunity for the Egyptians to kill them. What myth units does he have access to? Mummies, the mummy upgrades coming in, as well as New Kingdom, crocodiles, and wadgets. So all of the ranged ones. So ranged ones are pretty good. The camels coming in, trying to find the Titan Gate, maybe. I just don't know how many units he really has. I've got 12 of those. I think this is my button. Yeah, not that many. Just from being downtown center. Curse coming in again. I don't know whether I rate the 3rd usage of Curse. I think some players, they still sleep on myth units, even now. Wow, the Titan was here. It was so close. Titan coming through. How can we defend it? Rain comes down. Sure, why not? Just spam units at it, maybe? Maybe that's the plan. How do mummy visors cope? It looks like when the Titan was coming out, that's what we decided was mummy visors. Maybe mummies are just cracked versus the Titan. I mean, I know mummies are great. Micro Stronghold trying to come down. It gets clapped once. Titan takes 4 HP. Do you just attack somewhere else? I think you've got to take it down. You've got to start tickling it with double pharaohs and things. Lucky you went Osiris, otherwise I just don't think there's any way to deal with this. But the heroes need to get in position. This is prime time to get some damage done to Titans, because they have 30,000 HP. What you need to do is just constantly be doing damage to them. So you see how little damage they do, really. If they were doing that while there was no units around, then it just starts to take a lot of damage. And Asem is leaving this on his own. So this Titan's going to take so much damage from old Stopmost the Third and all the priests. Yes, it will probably kill the fortified town center, but at what cost? The mummies as well. They're doing 30 damage a hit. Not really that big. I think the mummies probably just need to take care of everything else. They're not really touching this Titan. But Titan does manage to take it down. Loses a third of its HP to do so, though. I think Sem again is struggling on population. It's got one hot flight, just jabbing that Son of Osiris. Getting probably with too much value, but he's getting the value. Stronghold going to be definitely on the receiving end of this Titan. And the Heliopolis on their own will take out a settlement, but again, just throwing away random Heliopolis. It looks so strange just running around on their own. I don't think this Titan's getting any value here. Fourth curse? Now, when I say Poseidon late game is strong, this is not how I would play it. Or not how I've seen it play. I think the Titan was fine. If he wanted to go for the Titan, I think it made sense. You grab the 4th TC, you distract, you spend, you know, your Ra player that you're against takes all this time actually grabbing that town center back, that you get your Titan out, that makes sense. But then sending the Titan in on his own against 2 pharaohs, all these priests, these pharaohs and priests are so easy to take out. And then either if you're doing that, attack somewhere else, you know, with the full force of units, or send stuff with the Titan to actually aggress onto it. Could be nice. But anyway, Titan's got to fall, or at least be back there with 1k HP, which is nothing. It's just a myth unit. A Colossus has more HP than this guy now. Look at this, 11,000 damage. They've done their job. Now, we're with all this going on, we're back to an even state. We've got the camels. Camels need to get back to work. I think you can click on the market and they get back to work. Obviously, we are thinking about it because the market's going up, but there's so much going on. Town centers need to go up. Town centers need to go up on both sides. So we're not even yet. We need to wait for those town centers back. The queue is on. It's ready to go. The camels are back going. This myth unit needs to get taken care of, which Son of Osiris and friends are going to. Of course, he goes down, and he did his fair share of damage. But there is a Titan opportunity for Ra. Needs to stabilize everything else, though. I think the name of the game here is Migdal Strongholds and Walls. This is late game for Ra. This is why another Pharaoh is really great. You can start getting towers up here to secure this gold mine. This wall needs to become a stone wall. Get some towers on. He can't afford a Migdal Stronghold, but get some Migdal Strongholds up to secure his actual gold mine, his proper gold mine here, which is the market in the corner. Even get a Pharaoh or Priest on that one. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Heliopolis. I think that must be Asem's favorite unit in this one. Heliopolis. Military academies in the face. That's going to be annoying to deal with. Migdal Stronghold. He really likes this position. He's tried to get a Migdal Stronghold up here many a time. And Asem goes into Prodromus. Prodromus, on paper, makes sense against all the Migdal Stronghold units because they all get countered by it. But actually, they just don't have a lot of pierce armor, so chariot archers do fine against them. And if you sprinkle in some spearmen just to tank up a little bit, then you should be in a fine spot. And that is going to be the case. Champion spearman coming in. He did go Patar, so it does get that leather frame shield champion plus champion upgrade. So they can tank against archers for a while anyway. Which is the only real issue that spearmen face. Because you see, they have a lot of hack armor anyway. But pure Prodromus going to be alright for the spearmen to deal with, I would say. And that is the name of the game. Migdal Strongholds going up everywhere. Even one at the back in a defensive setup. Desert Winds finally able to come through. Just because I think his eco's been fine this whole time, but it makes sense to get the town centers. They're more important. And after all that craziness, it is even again. At 34 minutes into this game, we're even. Oh, running forward though into the Prodromus, not ideal. Camel Riders, champion chariots do not want to be on the receiving end of the Prodromus. They need to run away, otherwise they're going to be taken down so quick. Need to sit underneath these Migdals, and Asem finally realizes that he wants some myth units. Now that Son of Osiris is obviously going to go down. You don't want to be building myth units while Son of Osiris is around. I definitely agree with that one. But I believe it's the Poseidon job just full force units in. If you send Polyphemus into the Son of Osiris, he pushes past everything. He doesn't care about any units. in take out Son of Osiris, build Centaurs, build Hydras, whatever it is. In this case, it's going to be Centaurs for a Sem. I think Centaurs in the late game, they make sense. Classical myth units or heroic age myth units in the late game are very, very good now, with all the buffs they've had throughout the Retold journey. But full pop for our Ra player here, and he does know that he has the myth units. He has the mummy visors. Son of Osiris still alive, 10k damage. Most of that was to a Titan, but still, I think he's done well. And the Spearman, you see Spearman with leather frame shield, if they get on top of the Toxotes, they do win that fight. Peltas don't care about those at all. They don't do any damage. But the Spearman, even without Horus upgrades, they're still great units. Champion of anything is a decent unit in the right circumstance. The Centaurs, though, they are going to be a problem. I wouldn't mind seeing the Pharaohs coming forward here. Sometimes they are a little bit difficult to micro, and what I mean by that is I have an easy military drag select on, so if there's a villager here in my box, it just won't get selected because my military units are here. And the Pharaoh counts as a civilian unit, so he just doesn't appear within your army. So you need to like select 2 lots, which is kind of difficult, but at least difficult for me, just because I always forget about it. And then my Pharaoh goes off and doesn't obey my commands, and then he dies very quickly because he's a fragile soul, the Pharaoh. Just kind of both players doing the same thing here. Is there a side build going on? Yes, there is. So while this is going on, this fight that you're just throwing units into, you need to do something somewhere else. Even if it's just you're here, you then grab, you go tower, 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 and then you just go back and start fighting. It just needs to be a small amount of investment somewhere else, and we are doing that one, which is nice. Also on this side, obviously that's what Asem's doing. You can see that the fortified town center has been taking some damage, so both players doing that nicely. But the Centaurs are a little bit scary. Son of Osiris just healing for the time being. Does so much damage to these guys, and when the champion Prodromus starts to stand on his horse, that's when you know the game is over. I think that Asem ran out of gold there. I think he's got no gold left. Does he have a market? No, I don't think he has a market. I think he was just full on, had no gold left. There's this side build going on, and wow, how Harold Fine here managed to come back from this is kind of wild. But you can just see that there's a crazy improvement going on, 1600 to 2k, and yeah, plays raw pretty well.